the ability to paint a house is not the ability. It's not the same, or the skill set to paint a house is not the same as the skill set to paint a car. And I think to a lot of us laymen, it's like, oh, painting's painting. Electrical work is electrical work. Well, it turns out there's high voltage, low voltage, medium voltage, residential, industrial, and too often outside of the skills, we're trying to solve a problem through the exact same process for parts of our economy that are so different, and skill sets that are so different. Like, I would not use Blue Recruit to hire the next salesperson at Blue Recruit, but I definitely would use Blue Recruit to hire a general contractor for my company.
David chiming in says, not sure if I missed it, Rich, but what example is a way you use data to find that hard to find talent for your clients that really stands out in the marketplace? Rich, any thoughts there?
Yeah, let me make sure I read that entirely.
Sure. So what example is a way you use data to find that hard to find talent? I guess the way I'm interpreting is there's certain certifications, some check boxes that are out there. Is there a way to use those check boxes as a way to be a magnet for talent that are kind of, the needle in the haystack? Can you, does that make sense, David?
Yeah, David, I think that's multi-channel. One, it's really good recruiting or really good marketing in order to build out that data pool. One, two, it's making sure, and just today I was going through our list. I'm like, and I do self audits on ourselves, and I found out that we were lacking a key skill set within surveying for construction companies. And it's like, we don't have that. We're also failing because we're not even giving our job seekers the ability, because he or she might have that. And just consistently checking your own data, just like people are always wanting to clean data, get rid of the bad data. One of my sales guys was like, he's like, hey, Rich, can I go through our HubSpot and clean out some of these old sales? Yeah, absolutely. Like, you don't have to ask me to do that. Like, one, we're paying to store those people, and two, why even bother doing outreach to them? So I think, David, an important thing is to constantly check yourself and make sure that we're actually trying to collect the right data. Because someone in our database might actually have a skill set that one of our clients is looking for, but we failed to ask them for it.
So this is interesting because I don't see this as and I'm finding this more and more these days. It's not a destination; it's a journey, right? I mean, you're taking the first step to understand some of the requirements. Then the next time you say, well, that's not 100%. I think there's some things that you're leaving on the table here that I haven't characterized yet, but ask that. So it's constantly reinvesting in asking your clients what it is they really need in the boxes that they need, because they may have only given you 4 of the 6 that you really need. And maybe this touches on a little bit of what Joseph is saying, is that construction, I believe you have to have 8 of those boxes, but in another type, in the type of his skill set, you can train them for some of those things, so it's not as important. So different skills have different roles, have different levels of checkbox. Does that make sense?
I got my first sales job. I'd never sold a thing in my life, but he's like, hey, you're a pretty charismatic guy. I can train you how to sell my product. I was like, cool. That wouldn't happen. Like, no one's gonna be like, hey, Rich, you're a pretty charismatic guy. Come take apart my transmission. That's not gonna happen. Well, I took it apart for you. Now go pay someone to put it back together.
Well, I will tell you, if I walk into Duke and I need general surgery and I see you there, I will reconsider my options. No offensive to you, of course. Just the fact that you told me you have no certifications there. So we talked about this idea of kind of this internal collaboration, trying to get everyone on the same page. Too often the times people aren't on the same page when they put that requirement out there for somebody. Trying to, if you are recruiting into one of these hard skill areas, kind of having some of those up front help vet people better, so they self-select themselves out of it, as opposed to maybe focusing just on the resume. Mm-hmm. What else? What are the other things that you're usually opening companies' eyes to in terms of maturing their think for the hiring process?
One really probably like, I think every single business owner has this, like there's a part of their business that's really special to them. What I love actually does not have to do with our clients, but rather our job seekers. And what we're currently doing is, we're gathering such phenomenal data. Just yesterday morning, not to call someone out or anything like that, but I just happened to have our database up, and I was watching job seekers enter the data, and I noticed somebody, and she lived in a pretty central part of Florida. She was looking for, and we asked people, where do you live? Where would you prefer to live? How far are you willing to commute? Are you willing to relocate, et cetera, et cetera. And this person was looking to work in a very rural part of the state and looking for a warehousing job, but at a salary that was just unattainable. No company is going to pay you that much per hour to do that job. And I'm sitting there, I was like, that person needs to be told that. And it's hurting her chances of ever getting a job, because chances are she just doesn't know that that's not attainable with her current skill sets. Hey, she gets a job, learns new things, develops more skills. She might become that manufacturing manager one day, but right now that's not an attainable goal. And so that's what we're working on right now, is an AI capability that's going through that data that could then immediately let somebody know, hey, have you thought about this? And oh, by the way, here's some courses, some skill sets that you can attain right now to help you get there. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. Being able to kind of have the system come in and say, hey, I've learned a couple of things that you've done in the past that might lead to a better outcome potentially, right? Or a better question to ask to kind of maybe see if you can vet them out or keep them in the pool. I'd heard from someone a little earlier about they've got some applicants that keep applying again and again and again to a role. What do you do with that stuff? What have you typically done when people keep applying and you're like, look, you're just not checking the boxes here? How do you deal with that?
So that's one of the things our clients love about us, is that literally cannot happen. Because the clients are the ones reaching out to the job seekers when they identify someone that they want, that goes out the window. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of folks out there that do that, and it just creates more inefficiencies for that HR team, the manager, whoever it is that's actually doing the hiring. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're just not a fit. And that's just a reality sometimes. So we got rid of that problem by the way that our connections and interviews are done. But I remember seeing that all the time when I worked in traditional recruiting, was, I'm sorry, you're just not a fit.
But now you've got sort of a measuring stick. You say, look, hey, this is a measuring stick here, and you don't rate on the scale.
And that's where I'm really excited is, okay, you're not there right now. You're right here. Hey, here's this training we can connect you with in order to improve. Let's get you in right here. Let's get you a salary. Let's get you a job. And over the next year, 18 months, 24 months, whatever it looks like, we'll get to where you want to be. Tell us what your goals are, and we can help you achieve those.
Pay is always such a
personal.
It's personal. It's just a squishy subject. I don't know a better word, right? What do I offer? Do I tell them up front what I'm looking for? That's what you believe.
You want to stop receiving 250 resumes, 230 of them, which are completely unqualified for. Just be upfront with it. I don't understand why and it doesn't matter what the job is. I don't understand why we're holding that back. It might prevent somebody from ever applying because like, oh, I can't take that kind of a paycheck. Someone might see me like, oh, I'm definitely not. Because one of the huge problems with job descriptions is, I don't know how many job roles are out there. And this is outside of my industry, but let's go with sales or tech. Director, vice president. That definition can have a huge difference in pay. I mean, so just be upfront with it. And it's just going to make the process so much easier.